Hello, it's great to have you with us for our year-end wrap-up of Explore Tulsa. And this week, we'll take a peek at several of our most fun and interesting segments of 2015.
Like when we revved up on a Dale Earnhardt's NASCAR racer.
And there was John Earling's exclusive interview on the Roger Wheeler murder.
Plus fun with Fozzie Bear's Ride.
And several more favorites. Hi, I'm Stevie Fernandez.
And I'm Trish Whitmer. Thanks for celebrating your holidays by joining us for this week's Explore Tulsa.
Trish, have you seen my New Year's costume? I've been looking for it everywhere.
I threw it away. There was no way I was letting you wear a diaper on the show.
Too much Stevie?
Way too much Stevie.
This has been a year of the buildup of T-Town. In July, Riverside Drive was shut down from 21st to 41st Streets for construction of the much-anticipated gathering place for Tulsa.
We should see that come together in late 2017.
It'd be nice if they made 21st to 41st a NASCAR raceway.
While you dream about that, why don't we take a peek at a real NASCAR?
He was the intimidator, and if drivers saw him coming up in the rearview mirror, they just didn't know how to act. They thought, well, I better get out of this guy's way or he's going to knock me out. It was a shock, it really was. He just, if you've seen the crash, which it's been replayed several times, it just shouldn't have happened. I don't know, with the now Hans devices that's come out of it, I'm sure it's saved a lot of lives. But when you lose somebody like that, and the funeral is televised like a president had died or something, it's big. I met a guy in North Carolina. We became good friends, and come to find out, he was a friend of Dale Earnhardt's. He grew up with him as a kid. He had the car, restored it, and ran on us some bad times. We were talking one day, and he said, well, if you'd like to own it, I'll give you the first opportunity. I've had it ever since, and it's been a lot of fun. It's got an 850 horsepower SB2 Chevrolet engine, 4-speed transmission. It's got the same drive line that would have ran in the Cup Series in 2000.
We love going to the shows. We've had so many people come up to the car and just sit down and just cry.
You just throw that garage door up and pull this car out in the driveway and you wouldn't believe the traffic that just goes by, and they're just like, what in the world, you know?
Look for Gary and his wife Penny at several car shows throughout the year with their Dale Earnhardt NASCAR.
You know that car's seen a championship or two.
As have the Sooners, and perhaps another national title awaits them for 2015.
That's right, they're taking on Clemson in the Orange Bowl as the Sooners' first appearance in the new National Championship Playoff Series.
We wish them the same results Coach Switzer had during his time at OU, which inspired Jimmie Tramel of the Tulsa World to bring us his new book in 2015, Switzer, the Player's Coach.
I grew up in Locust Grove, Oklahoma, which is not far from Tulsa, of course, and I was lucky in that our high school, we had a kind of a great journalism program and what I would consider to be a really good student newspaper. So you get some positive reinforcement and say, hey, you know, this is what I want to do. I got hired at the Tulsa World while I was still finishing college, so I was kind of commuting back and forth. I took a job as a sports copy editor, which it's not a bad job, but the hours are weird. It's 4 to midnight every night, and your job is to find mistakes, correct mistakes if you find them in other people's stories, and you write headlines. It's the only creative outlet. You couldn't be creative correcting a mistake, but you could be creative writing a headline. So I took a job, 4 to midnight job, knowing that, hey, maybe if I do that, I can be a writer someday. Writing a book does sound like a fun thing to do until you get in it and you find out it's hard work. The newest book on Coach Barry Switzer was a Tulsa World idea. We're getting into the book business, and this was kind of our test drive. What can we write about? What book can we write that will be kind of a successful audition for future books? And the one person everyone came up with is, if you write a book about Barry Switzer, it's hard to mess that up. You can't go wrong. This is not someone who isolates himself from humanity and puts up walls and you don't know anything about him. I mean, his emotions he wears on his sleeves. There are people who call Barry Switzer 20, 30 years after they played for him and says, hey, Coach, Hurricane Katrina blew my house away, can you help? And he says to Louis Oubre, I've got you, big boy. And he sends down 2 truckloads full of furniture to rescue a guy who lost everything in Hurricane Katrina. This is a real human being, and I think that's lost sometimes nowadays among the college coaches. I once thought I just like sports, and that's wrong. I like stories. It doesn't matter what kind of stories, whether it's a movie or a TV show or a book. I just like stories.
To learn more about Jimmie Tramel's book, Switzer, the Player's Coach, search for Barry Switzer at TulsaWorld.com.
When we come back, we fly through the air while keeping our feet firmly planted on the ground at the Tulsa Air and Space Museum, next on Explore Tulsa.
John Erling with Voices of Oklahoma. Our great state has been home to countless individuals whose place in history has been earned through each of their many accomplishments. Voices of Oklahoma's mission is to preserve their story in an oral history presentation like none other. Accounts direct from famous Oklahomans, political figures, and many others who have left their indelible mark on the development, history, and future of Oklahoma. So please, treat yourself by listening to those who are the voices of Oklahoma.
Hi, I'm Kenny Smith. I'm the Director of Convention Services for the Tulsa Convention and Visitors Bureau, and you're watching Explore Tulsa.
Thanks for staying with us for more Explore Tulsa. Now, 2015 also gave us the grand opening of renovations going on at the Tulsa International Airport.
Well, that's right, Trish. Concourse A was once again opened up all shiny and very new and comfortable, featuring all sorts of upgrades, including charging sockets everywhere.
The Tulsa Air and Space Museum also took on some upgrades, turning their MD-80 into one incredible tour.
Yeah, Video Revolution helped install Atmos sound, and by late January of 2016, the exhibit will include a really cool 15-laser LED projector show like none other.
You just don't get an opportunity to get up this close with an airplane.
The way we envision it is we have folks that come to the museum and it'll be another attraction just like the planetarium is.
What we had to do is we had to tow the aircraft over from a hangar where we were doing some preliminary work on it, and with American Airlines. These people are wonderful, American are wonderful. And we towed the airplane around down here just outside our main gate, and we had this monster gigantic crane that lifted up the aircraft, took it over and put it on the other side of the fence. Then they had to come in with the crane again and lift it once again to mount it on the big concrete posts that you see below it.
We have planned several productions. The first production is called The Flight Experience. It starts out with you hear the tower, a pilot, flight attendants, and then you start to see some ghostly figures up front on the front screen. The screens wrap all the way around, and they start talking, and then all of a sudden you're in an aircraft taxiing down the runway about to take off. And what it's going to feel like to the folks that are in the theater is like you've peeled off or melted away the top half of the aircraft. It's like being in a convertible airplane. Towards the end of the production, there'll be a bad thunderstorm, and we'll have to do, it's kind of a fantasy deal, we'll have to do an evasive maneuver where the aircraft thrusters come on and it shoots up into the stratosphere, and then you can see the curvature of the earth and stuff. And once we get the full up production and get a lot of movement in the audio, it'll blow their mind.
It's going to be one of those iconic symbols, I think, of the museum in the future.
Visit TulsaAirandSpaceMuseum.org to find out when the big MD-80 experience will be ready to blow your mind.
The planes might be a whole lot smaller, but the fun is the same when you hang out with the Tulsa Glue Dobbers.
I get nervous when I fly. I'm not a great pilot. I like doing it, but I'm not a great pilot. But personally, my big thing is building the airplanes. Tulsa Glue Dobbers, we were founded in 1947, and we are the oldest continuously chartered club in the country. There are several hundred clubs in the country. We have in this club anywhere from 100 to 200 at any given time. We always encourage beginners to come out because we have flight training. We can get them on a buddy box and get them up flying where they don't have to worry about crashing an airplane.
The gentleman there had brought this plane from Europe and flew it, and he let me fly it, a model of this plane, and he was the distributor, and that hooked me. It's a replica, and it represents the exact scale representation as close as they could economically for the plane. So if you bought the real plane, it would look like this in almost every detail.
The other ones we have that's big in the club is a 3D aircraft. Planes like you see in the Red Bull races. Those planes are very acrobatic at the model size. All of our planes, most all of our planes, are far more power per weight than real aircraft. And so we can do things with the model airplanes that you can't do with the real aircraft. The radios are computerized where we can have up to 60 models of different airplanes set up differently in the same radio, and we just choose which model we're going to fly that day and match it with the airplane and then go fly. Fully half of it for me is building, the other half is camaraderie with the guys, and then if I get to fly, that's just gravy.
Now to find out how you can join in on the fun, visit TulsaGlueDobbers.com.
Coming up, I bet I can get Trish to say the D word when talking about our next segment when Explore Tulsa continues.
Send me some love.
Look at us. We woke up one morning with every song that ever mattered to anyone. So now what? Music's meant to be heard, out loud, where your life happens, where you dance, where you love, and where you live. When everyone has every song ever written, what matters most is how you listen.
Come hear for yourself at Video Revolution. For over 33 years, Video Revolution has been Tulsa's headquarters for all the best name brands of cutting-edge electronics. The experts at Video Revolution can put it all together for that ultimate home theater experience. Video Revolution on the northwest corner of 71st and Lewis for Tulsa's best team of qualified sales, service, and installation technicians.
We're very happy you decided to stay with us on Explore Tulsa as we continue to look back on 2015, which marked the 75th anniversary of the Pensacola Dam.
She did it. Trish said the D word.
You know you used that same joke earlier this year.
It's a classic.
Yeah, just like the Pensacola Dam.
Never grows old.
For Oklahoma and for Oklahomans who haven't seen this really is an engineering marvel. The Pensacola Dam was really the dream of a lot of people going back to the 19th century. A man named Henry Halderman, as early as I believe it was 1898 or somewhere along in there, actually did an engineering survey along the Grand River, looking for acceptable sites for the dam. It would be close to another 50 years before the dam was built. In 1935, GRDA was created, and the whole reason GRDA was created was really to have an organization in place to build this dam. About 3,000 men came from all over. Of course, this was a rugged rural area at the time, and they built this dam. It's a multiple arch design, 51 arches. What really makes it special is when you think about 75 years ago, the men and the women who out here like we are today when it's going to probably reach 100 degrees or better, out here working in those conditions for all summer, for a couple of summers, and in the winter time as well, to build this so that we can have this lake here today. We have some photographs of people out on the water really before you would say the dam was totally completed. So really that first summer, 1940, the lake pretty much filled up then. I'm not sure they would have anticipated that much popularity of the water as a water playground that day. This is a 46,500 surface acre lake, highly developed with all kinds of places to live, with a waterfront view, large marinas, restaurants on the water, plenty of room for sailing and fishing and recreation.
The Pensacola Dam has regular tour hours throughout the year. Visit grda.com to learn more.
I bet the dam has seen its share of cars, like those we found at the Admiral Twin Drive-In from the Northeast Oklahoma Studebaker Drivers Club.
Studebaker was always considered a little bit ahead of its time. They were quite well respected. The original Studebaker family came from Germany and started building wagons in the New York area, and down through the years the generations changed and they went from wagons to automobiles.
Yeah, when I was a kid I always liked Studebakers. They were different compared with the other cars, and I particularly liked the Avanti when they first came out, a little sporty car. And eventually I grew up and got enough money where I could buy one, you know. This is a 63 Avanti. It was the first year that Studebaker made the Avanti. It was kind of an innovation. It was kind of a sporty car that was going to compete with the Corvette. It's got the Studebaker's big block 289. It's got a four-barrel carburetor on it. And it was the fastest production car in America at the time. It could do 170 miles an hour. It was first car in America with disc brakes on a production car, standard. And it was kind of different for the time there.
This is a 1950 Studebaker Champion. Fozzie Bear drove a car very similar to this in the Muppet movie. And this is actually my youngest daughter's car. She decided that she wanted an old car as her first car, and she saw a picture of a bullet-nosed Studebaker and said, "That's the one, Dad."
Every month on the third Sunday afternoon of each month. I think as far as having the club, I think that anything that people do, be it in the automobile area or any other area, it's important to keep history alive.
Those guys really go all out to keep that part of history alive. And no doubt you're going to see each and every one of them cruising around T-Town.
Still to come, we learn a new way to thrive in business.
And more Tulsa history from the man behind Voices of Oklahoma when we return with more Explore Tulsa. Hey, it's Stevie from Explore Tulsa with my friend and optometrist for many years, Dr. Robert Zellner. Tell everybody why it's so good to come in to see you.
Well, that's a great question. Let's see, we've got two great locations. We try to stay cutting edge at every point along the way because let's face it, everybody wants to come in and get taken care of in a timely fashion and get the latest, greatest stuff and save some money and get on with their life. And see clearly.
And if you don't believe it, look on the website.
Absolutely, drzellner.com. You can find that we have our two locations at 69th and Memorial and 3030 South Harvard, or you can give us a call at 749-2020 or 461-2020.
And I got 4 kids, and I gotta tell you, as a big family like that, it's affordable too.
Oh yes, and of course, the number one reason, you save some money. I mean, with our 2-pair specials, with our different unique packages that we put together, I mean, you can come in here and your money can go a lot farther than anywhere else.
And that's why with Dr. Robert Zellner and Associates, seeing is believing.
Oh, I like that, Stevie. Well done.
We're the first classes of McLean High School, and you're watching Explore Tulsa.
Hello, and welcome back for more Explore Tulsa.
In 2015, the Muskogee Creek Nation began constructing the new entertainment complex at the Riverwalk Crossing in Jenks.
And it won't be long before we see completion of their new Jimmy Buffett Margaritaville Casino and Restaurant.
Both places are going to need savvy business folks like the kind teaching the ins and outs at Thrive15.com.
Well, Thrive is basically business school without the BS. It's gamified edutainment, so it's entertaining education taught by millionaires, mentors, and everyday success stories. But they're broken up into 15-minute nuggets, and sometimes they're pretty hilarious. Sometimes they're emotionally engaging, and so it's like business school, but you actually are engaging. So you're going to laugh, you're going to learn, and at the end of the day, you're going to earn a lot more money.
Why did you leave your last job, Steve?
Fired. Next question.
So during my lifetime, I've been able to spend time with the founder of Hobby Lobby and George Foreman and David Robinson and all these great people. And it's super hard to get a hold of these people. But that's the idea on Thrive, is it's just a click away and you can have that mentorship that you would normally really struggle to find in a real-time face-to-face situation.
Matter of fact, earlier today, I had a young lady come up to me and shake my hand and say, thank you. And I go, for what? She goes, you helped my business. And I said, cool. She goes, I'm a thriver. And I was like, oh yeah, of course. So it was really cool because you can see it working.
There's one thriver named Kat, and she's been able to almost double her business this year. So she had an existing bakery, and she's been able to almost double in less than a year. And why? She's always made a great product. She's always had great cookies and great bakeries. She just needed to learn some of these practical mentorship, these management and sales and marketing and checklists and systems and workflows and accounting. She had to learn that stuff. And I can tell you, I'd be in a much different place in my life if I didn't have that kind of mentorship. And now that's available for everybody for less than most people spend on a cell phone.
I said, Clay, I said, if I got nobody else to tell me thanks or to say that the mentorship on Thrive helped me grow my business, even that one lady, it's worth all the time and effort we put into it.
A lot of the millionaire mentors that you'll find, in their heart, they want to help people, but they have so many obligations to run their successful company. And so Thrive provides a unique way for these multimillionaires and success stories to really go ahead and carve out 4 or 5 hours of their time to sit down and answer questions that maybe they only know the answers to, and to really give back. And so it's been neat to provide that platform for those people.
For the answers to all your business questions, visit thrive15.com to sign up for your free trial.
Star Wars was a huge hit. Have you seen it yet?
No.
Box office results were out of this world, but there was another box office hit that did well this year, and it had real-life ties to Tulsa.
The Johnny Depp movie Black Mass grossed nearly $100 million at the box office.
And in the movie was the depiction of the 1981 Roger Wheeler murder at the Southern Hills Country Club.
Well, the story of the murder of Roger Wheeler, who was the president of Telex Corporation in Tulsa, begins with the Boston Winter Hill Gang and its leader, Whitey Bulger. Now, Whitey Bulger sent his men to Tulsa and Southern Hills Country Club to murder Mr. Wheeler. Wheeler was the owner of World High Lie, and he discovered an embezzlement scheme within his company. Now, it was May 27, 1981, when Roger Wheeler had finished a round of golf. Now, the time was a little after 4 o'clock on that Wednesday afternoon. 25-year-old Tulsa Police Detective Mike Huff, along with some of his colleagues, heard on the radio that a shooting had taken place at Southern Hills Country Club. So Mike was the first detective on the scene. So tell us what you saw when you looked in that car.
Well, you knew that there was a successful Southern Hills Club member seated behind that wheel and shot between the eyes.
And the man from Boston, Johnny Mortorano, knew what he was doing, for he and his accomplice, Joe McDonald, were waiting in their car for Wheeler to head to his car.
Johnny gets out of the passenger side once he sees Wheeler committing to that car, and then as Wheeler gets seated, he opens the door, fires one shot. The gun falls apart. It's a faulty revolver. He had a little .38 revolver. The gun fell apart, which really upset him. The live rounds fell to the ground. He kind of trots back to the car. They went out. They dumped the stolen car, got back in their regular car, went back to the trade winds, sawed up the gun, dumped it somewhere in the river near 51st and Riverside.
Arkansas River.
The Arkansas River,
Right.
yes, sir. This was like a bomb in this city, and people don't understand the fallout was continuing for years, literally.
So immediate suspicions led to speculation that the murder was a mob hit, even looking at Oklahoma City. But the relentless pursuit of many years by Tulsa Police Detective Mike Huff led the investigation to Boston in the eventual indictment and conviction of Stephen Fleming, Johnny Mortorano, and after 16 years on the run, Whitey Bulger.
For more of John Erling's interview with former Tulsa Police Detective Mike Huff, visit voicesofoklahoma.com.
And stick around, we'll be right back with more Explore Tulsa.
Hi, Dr. Robert Zellner here. For over 20 years, I've offered affordable, convenient eye care in Tulsa. Right now, you can get one pair of glasses or contact lenses starting at just $99, or my two-pair deal for $129. Hey, and as always, the eye exam's included. Walk-ins are always welcome. Glasses are ready in about an hour. Plus, we have over 2,000 frames to choose from. We're open 7 days a week. Come see why we're voted Tulsa's best. And our drive-thru at 69th and Memorial makes pickup simple and easy. For the best eye care value in Tulsa, Dr. Robert Zellner and Associates.
When I listen to music, I close my eyes and it takes me away. Anytime we bring a new speaker into the studio, we tune the speaker for the room. Every room sounds different, and every environment that the speaker goes into affects the sound of the speakers. Now you can do the same thing at home that we do in the studio. I can think of no better feeling than to close your eyes and disappear into the music.
Come hear for yourself at Video Revolution.
Special thanks to all of you who took the time to watch and be a part of Explore Tulsa throughout 2015.
Now, we'd have loved to have everybody fit into this week's show, looking back over 2015. But luckily, there's always next year. So if you'd like to be on this show or have some suggestions, email us your ideas to stevie@exploretulsa.com.
As always, each week we feature the people, places, and attractions that make us proud to call Tulsa our home.
Remember, if you ever miss any of the show, you can always catch us at exploretulsa.com.
Plus, remember, Explore Tulsa is brought to you by Video Revolution, located on the northwest corner of 71st and Lewis.
Stop by, say hello to Ron and all the guys for your home entertainment needs.
And Explore Tulsa is also proudly brought to you by Dr. Robert Zollner and Associates.
Home of the two-pair deal starting at just $99 with 2 locations, 3030 South Harvard and 69th and Memorial.
Well, that's all the time we have for you on this week's show. But from Stevie, the crew, and myself, we want to wish you a great new year, and we'll see you in 2016 right here on Explore Tulsa.